This is a Nikon AFS 16-35mm f4G ED VR lens. It was released in early 2010 and had the distinction of being the world's first ultra-wide-angle lens to feature optical image stabilization. And now the rumour is it's heading to the great lens god in the sky, having its manufacturing discontinued by Nikon. Two articles by Digital Camera World and Petapixels have said that this lens is about to be retired permanently. So I thought I'd do an ode to the lens, as this has given me some of my most favourite and cherished images I have taken ever in my life. The headline features of this lens include, of course, the 16-35mm focal length with a f4 constant maximum aperture. It is, of course, an f-mount lens for Nikon digital SLRs. It features ED, which is extra low dispersion glass to help with chromatic aberrations. It has, of course, VR, vibration compensation of acclaimed up to 4 stops, a 77mm filter thread, and it weighs 1.5 pounds or 685 grams. All for the sell price at launch in 2010 of $1,160 US. Sure, it has faults. The distortion is real, especially at the wide end of the focal range. Even though the claimed extra low dispersion glass would help with chromatic aberrations, it definitely does suffer from this. The zoom ring could be a little bit more taut. The claimed stops are for stabilization. Well, let's call that a Nikon PR 4 stops. And yes, it isn't exactly sharp from edge to edge, but it's been my closest buddy on my many and varied landscape photography adventures around this blue marble that we call the Earth. It is actually quite sharp in the middle of the frame, especially around the f2.9 to f11 range. The 77mm filter thread means that you're not really breaking the bank on any filters you want to buy. It is really light compared to its big brother, the 14-24 f2.8. And let's face it, unless you're seriously into astrophotography, you don't really need a wide-angle lens that can go to 2.8. You don't need a lot of vibration compensation at a wide angle anyway, as it's most likely mounted to a camera that's going to be on a tripod. And the 16-35mm is half the price of the 14-24 2.8. It's an absolute bargain. The 16-35mm has been a constant companion with me every step of my photography journey ever since I purchased my Nikon D810. I bought my lens secondhand, but it has always worked perfectly, never missed a beat. The 16-35 has adapted well to my Z-mount camera, and so it has seen a new lease of life here. I'm sure that its spiritual successor, the newer Z-mount 14-30mm f4 lens, is smaller, lighter, and produces better images in general. But let's all just take a moment to reflect on what a good value for money this f-mount 16-35mm was and will continue to be as it floats around the secondhand market. Cheers to you, Nikon AFS 16-35mm f4 ED VR lens. Thanks for all the memories you have helped create for me and countless other photographers around the world. And may you continue to do so for those who snuggle you in their camera bags, ready for the next adventure.